Hi, English Nomad here, and in today's video I'm just going to explain where I am. I'm currently at the old crossing of the Fitzroy River, which is about 70 kilometres, 80 kilometres approximately from the town of Derby. And I've camped here last night and I'm going to camp here again tonight. It's I'm going to call this video the gateway to the Kimberleys, because many consider Derby to be the gateway to the Kimberleys. It's where the Gibb River Road starts, and so that's why I've decided to call this video the gateway to the Kimberleys. So I'll let you have a look around and I'll just explain some of the history of this particular place. So the Fitzroy River is a major waterway in this region of Australia. As you can see, there's quite a lot of water there. Apparently there are crocodiles here, but I haven't seen any. I shone my torch in the water last night. I could see some eyes, but I couldn't see any crocodiles. Apparently there's quite a few of the smaller freshwater crocodiles, but some of the people who've stayed here reckon that there are a couple of salties here as well. The salties are the bigger crocodiles, which we really should try and avoid at all costs. The smaller freshwater crocs don't really present much of a danger to humans. They don't really attack humans at all. They're all considerably smaller than the saltwater crocs, and they prefer to stay well away from humans. So yeah, what you can see there is the remains of the old bridge that used to go over the Fitzroy. The amount of bird life has been amazing. There's lots of different types of birds, from your crows to your wading birds. Lots of little birds, and there's a sea eagle that's been flying around. I've seen him yesterday, and we've got the whistling kites, and the black kites are here. I'll put some photographs up of the kites that I took photographs of yesterday, and these birds are beautiful. They're you can tell the whistling kites because they when they cry, they generally follow it with a whistling sound. But they're both equally amazing to watch flying. You know, you see them soaring in the sky, circling, looking for prey. So I'm gonna put my drone up later on, and I'll get some drone footage. It was really peaceful here last night. There's only a few people staying here, and we're reasonably spaced apart. It is a free camp, and I found this place on Wikicamps. There's Gizmo, resting in the shade. She's on her harness and lead. Bronson's under the car, he's on his lead. Because there are crocodiles here, I will not let Bronson anywhere near the water. It's just not safe. I just don't feel comfortable in being close to the water. Apparently last year there was a dog taken by a croc here, but they were right down there. Actually the dog was in the water when it got taken. And to be honest, most of the animals that do get taken by crocs get taken at the water. They don't get taken up the banks. So I think if you're up the banks where I am right now, you're going to be safe. Crocs can run for short distances, faster than humans, but only for short distances. So you can outrun a croc. You just got to zigzag. They run fast in a straight line, but they're not very manoeuvrable, and they're not very good climbers either. So so you can outrun one. You just got to make sure that you take evasive manoeuvres to outrun them. The best thing to do is just not get in a confrontation with one in the first place. And they are pretty shy when it comes to coming out of the water during the day. The water's quite warm, so so they'll stay in the water pretty much all day. I heard them last night. They have a very distinctive cry, so I did hear the crocodiles last night, but yeah, can't see any. Hopefully later on this afternoon there might be some out of the water, and if there is, I'll see if I can get my drone close enough and get some photographic or video footage of the crocodiles here. The road in here was a little bit corrugated and washed out in places, and a little bit rough. You may get in here with a non-four-wheel drive car if you take your time, but you probably risk doing damage. So the only way to really get in here safely is with a four-wheel drive. You need the clearance, and probably safer to have the four-wheel drive. The road in is about 10 kilometers. Most of it is okay, heavily corrugated, but there are a few areas that are a little bit tricky, and you have to slow down and pick your lines. So even if you've got a four-wheel drive, if you're towing a caravan into this place, you just need to be aware that, you know, you're better off if you've got a caravan that has got good clearance. You know, an off-road trailer, off-road caravan is your best bet. So yeah, this is the Fitzroy River. Very important river to the Aboriginals in this region. They a great food source for them. There is barramundi in the waters here, so there's people out on the water right now in tinnies fishing for barramundi. But with the water being quite warm, apparently the barramundi aren't biting at the moment. So you know, it looks like the fishermen here are getting a bit frustrated, going up and down, dragging lures, trying to get barramundi on the lines. There is evidence of barramundi because there's dead carcasses that people leave here for the birds. And apparently when the barramundi are biting, you get some pretty nice specimens out of here. And barramundi is a really nice eating fish. You know, it's a really nice fish for putting batter on with fish and chips. Yum yum. Yes, so I'm not sure what other fish are in there. and I think that's why the Crocs like this river as well, because Crocs like the barramundi as well. So anyway, that's it for now. I'll put some drone footage in, and I'll do some video footage of other areas that I visit in this first leg of my Kimberleys adventure. So I'll get some video footage in Derby. I'm going into Derby tomorrow, and I'll get some video footage on the way in of some of the spectacular scenery. Yeah, speak to you guys again soon. Okay, something I just wanted to might give you a bit of a laugh, but wearing appropriate footwear out here is a really good idea. This is the second pair of Avianas that I've wrecked just by wearing them around the campsite. This place is quite rocky, and I was moving around the campsite yesterday and I tripped over a rock, and I think the expression is I blew a plug. I bust a plug. But that's the second pair of Avianas that I've wrecked wearing them around a campsite like this. Just not appropriate footwear for this type of environment. So I'm going to be wearing my Dr. Martin boots from now on when I'm around the campsite. And I'm going to reserve my Avianas for the beach only. I've only got one. I bought 3 pairs, and I've only got 1 pair left, brand new ones. So yep, they're consigned to the rubbish bag, and they weren't cheap. I think that pair was $40. They're the ones with a metal Aviana tag on them. Very nice thongs, but wholly inappropriate for wearing around a campsite like this. So it's boots all the way from now on, and thongs on the beach. So just my tip for the day for you guys. Yep, don't blow your money on Avianas. Buy yourself a decent pair of boots and get cheap thongs for on the beach. And then you're not going to cry too much when you bust a pair like these. Hi, back again, and I'm just here at the prison boab tree in Derby. So I'll let you have a look at this. This is a really interesting place of cultural significance for the Aboriginal people in this area. So I'll give you a little bit of background. So the boab tree is an indigenous or native tree of this particular region of Australia. It's only found in the northwest portion of Western Australia, with a region we call the Kimberleys, and it's a fairly unusual looking tree. As you can see, it kind of resembles a bottle. It's got a very large trunk. This one's nearly 15 metres across in girth, and it's been hollowed out, and it was used to house prisoners being transported to Derby for sentencing for crimes, mostly indigenous Aboriginal people who had committed crimes against landowners and what have you, and when they were being transported from other communities, this is where they would hold them ready for sentencing. The boab tree itself is quite interesting. There is a piece of folklore which says that the boab tree was a very pretty tree, and it angered the devil. And the devil was so angered by the beauty of the boab tree, he ripped it out of the ground and placed it back in the ground upside down. So it's often referred to as the upside down tree. It has a lot of cultural significance to the Aboriginal people. It's often seen in Aboriginal artwork of this area, and it's valued for its fruit. The boab nut has a fleshy outer fruit part which is edible. In fact, this tree has actually got fruit on it at the moment, and the nut, which is the kernel of the fruit, is often sold to tourists when Aboriginal people engrave them. They carve in pictures, Aboriginal pictures, or pictures depicting local iconic things like crocodiles and kangaroos and goannas and that kind of thing. So when I see some carved boab nuts, I'll take some photographs and put them up. But yeah, the boab tree is quite prolific through these areas, and when we get to Derby we'll have a look around. I'm sure there's a lot of boab trees there. A lot of the towns in this area, a lot of the businesses in this area have the boab as one of its symbols of the area. So it does have a lot of significance to the Kimberley region. I think they're quite amazing to look at, just the shape of them. You know, the uglier they look, to me, the more aesthetically pleasing they look. So yeah, that's the prison boab tree. Very interesting piece of local history. Apparently there is another one of these in another one of the Kimberley towns called Wyndham. There is a big hollow inside. I'll just take you around and show you that. I'm going to respect the fence and not go through the fence, but you can see there's a big hollow, and I think what they used to do is they used to put the prisoners in there, and then they would have people standing guard outside so they can't escape. So yeah, very fascinating. I think I read on Google yesterday, I was doing a little bit of research about the boab tree. The boab tree is only found in this region of Australia, but it is closely related to another tree found in Madagascar, which is, I think it's called the boabab tree, which translated, I believe, means bottle tree. So do your own research. It may not be 100%, but that's Wikipedia for you. So yeah, I'll get some pictures of different boab trees and put them up in the video as well, so you can see. This one's very bulbous at the base. There are trees that aren't quite as bulbous as this at the base. They're maybe a bit taller. They still have that very distinctive bottle shape. But yeah, I'll show you some more in the video as we go along. You'll see that the street here, the main street here in Derby, is lined with boab trees. That's how significant locals here feel about the boab tree. And its importance to the area as a symbol, as an icon of the Kimberley region. Here you can see the boab tree in Derby, which is leaning over. It's been like this for years, but it looks like it's starting to lean over a little bit more. The last time I was here, it was leaning over, but the limbs of the tree were pointing straight up. Now you can see they're slightly at an angle, and you can see the soil around the base of the tree has been disturbed. So obviously the last storm they had has pushed the tree over a little bit further, but it's been like that for years, and it doesn't look like there used to be a fence around it. I'm not sure whether the Shire Council are going to do something about it, but it's still fruiting. You can see, you can probably maybe just make out that there's still fruit on there. I'll see if I can zoom in. See the fruit? There's some fruit on there. There, you can just see one there on the top there. So so it's still healthy even though it's leaning over. So I wonder what they'll do with that. I thought it was worth just pointing out to you guys that this tree's here. It's a boab tree. It's they obviously don't want to pull it up. This tree's probably hundreds and hundreds of years old. Boab trees have been aged at up to 5,000 years. The really big ones up to 5,000 years old. You know, so that's how old these trees are. They've been around longer than you and I watching this video. So yeah, interesting. So me and Bronson are just taking a walk along the Broom Jetty. This is a interesting little spot. You can just see out there the mud flats. This is a great spot for catching a mud crab. In fact, there's a guy just down there who's just pulled in a mud crab. Yeah, the mud crab's supposed to be quite a delicacy. I've not tried mud crab yet. It's on my bucket list of food things I want to try. I might get an opportunity while I'm in the Kimberleys, because mud crabs are quite prolific up in this area. So yeah, the tide's out at the moment. So you can see the mud flats are exposed. Right over there's a lot of mud flats. Come on, Bronson. Come on, shift. I try and get Bronson out of the car as much as I can when I'm on the road, so he gets a break, manages to have a drink.
Not moving at all, just in a meditative state.
And Derby itself is a nice little town. I've just drove through it. I think, to be honest though, most people use Derby as a staging point for their Kimberley travels. It's the starting point of the Gibb River Road, which takes you up into the heart of the Kimberley region, and also up to the Mitchell Plateau and places like Cullenbaroo, and which I'll come to in later videos, as that's the way I plan to go. But as it is I guess somewhat of a touristy place, they have all of the services that tourists need when they're on the road. Come on, you. It's really hard trying to film a video and walk a dog at the same time. He wants to go off in his own direction. I'm trying to hold the camera as well. Yeah, so this is the jetty. Nice place to just come and visit, have a quick look and a squiz at. Hi, Mike here. Just a very quick video to bring you up to date with what's happened today. So I arrived in Derby, I had a look around, and got to around 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I thought it was time to start heading towards my chosen camp spot for the evening. I didn't book in advance, and I phoned the guy up and he said, "Oh, sorry mate, we're fully booked." So the place where I wanted to stay, which was just off the Gibb River Road, just on probably about 15-20 kilometres just outside of Derby, that place wasn't available. So I went back into Derby, had a look at the caravan park. There's two caravan parks there. One of them doesn't have a very great reputation according to Wikicamps. The other one, which does have a reasonable reputation according to Wikicamps, there was 10 people queuing up waiting to get into the place. So I decided no, I wasn't going to hang around. I was going to set off and find an alternative place to stay. So I've drove about 65 kilometres outside of Derby up the Gibb River Road, to a little camping spot which is absolutely beautiful. I think I've got it all to myself. So I'm going to stay here tonight, and tomorrow I will commence my trip up for the along the Gibb River Road, and those will be separate videos. So I'm going to close out this video by just saying, please like this video, please share this video, and if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Click the little bell icon so that you get the notifications if you do subscribe, and as always, please comment below. Until next time, Mike signing off.